He knows the Bible. Okay, Shifty.
We were talking about translations and mistranslations.
Yeah.
And I've heard a lot of people say that gay marriage and gay relations are just mistranslations of the verses, like Romans, the ones in the Old Testament. Do you think they're mistranslations and the Bible is saying that they don't ever just talk about gay marriage or gay relations in general? Or do you think that they're mistranslations?
Yeah, so the accusation is usually that the word homosexuality it gets incorporated into the Bible in like the modern era. So the words in Hebrew in the Old Testament Leviticus, Paul, particularly in 1 Corinthians 7, plays off of what the Greek translation of the Old Testament has and uses this word arsinokoites, which literally means to lie down a man with a man. And so I think it's not a mistranslation because the concept is there. Like what it's talking about is not obscure. It might be controversial, but it's not obscure in the Hebrew and Greek. The accusation is usually that it's not talking about like same-sex sex. It's talking about something like men sleeping with boys or temple prostitution. Yeah. I don't think you can really rationalize that. There's a guy named Robert Gagnon.
They're related.
Yeah. Robert Gagnon. Except do you say Gagnon?
Yeah, these people don't understand.
Wait, hold on. Is this guy about to justify homosexuality?
No. So Robert Gagnon is a scholar. He did his dissertation. He taught at Princeton for a while on this, like the linguistic and cultural context of homosexuality in the Bible. So his is kind of like the volume. So he goes through all this stuff.
Why are you laughing at that?
And talks about
comes from a long line of people.
You got him right.
Long line of croissants. We just call them croissants.
Yeah, we just call them croissants.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so he's a croissant historian, and then what did he find out?
Well, these concepts are like if you went back to Moses and you had two dudes and said we want to get married, Moses is
like for what?
What?
He would say for what?
Yeah. Well, that wouldn't be. He'd be like, that's not what marriage is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not like it's just because the word homosexuality exists now in English.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that the concept isn't there
back in the day
within the Bible. Yeah.
So within the Bible, it was frowned upon, even like whatever translation, whatever contextually. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happens? You guys done with the gay stuff, or? Okay. So what happens? So after Jesus comes back, what do his disciples go do? Do they go separate? They go around the world, right? And they're going to spread the gospel.
Well, they hide because they think their movement's done. They think their leader's dead. That's kaput. And so,
but then he comes back.
Yeah. So that's what changes their mind. So that's what when they go from 11 scared disciples because Judas killed himself.
Yeah.
In the upper room.
Yeah.
To then going out and being willing to actually lose their life for this proclamation is because Jesus shows up
and he's like,
and then teaches them for 40 days.
Oh, so they do another 40-day
They
stint.
do another 40 days with Jesus.
Right.
That's So
okay.
that's what Luke talks about. This is 40-day period, and then you have the Mount of Ascension. He goes back, and then they spread out. Well, first they go back to Jerusalem and start preaching that at ground zero where it happened. Which if you were trying to make it up, you wouldn't go back to the place where everybody saw the guy killed and say like, he's resurrected, the tomb's empty. Like you go somewhere else.
And people check the tomb and it's empty.
Yeah, I mean, they would have, right? So
that's a
it's
bar that I've seen a bunch of pastors on TikTok use. It's fire. It's like
the tomb is empty.
No, it's if you look in Muhammad's tomb, he's in there. If you look in Moses' tomb, he's in there. If you look at my God's tomb, it's empty. It's fire.
Yeah. And then they start getting it's good.
Canadian humor versus American humor.
Yeah.
He's Canadian. He doesn't really get it.
They don't make any sense.
They're gonna be gassed up, man.
He's still dead in the tomb.
Yeah.
Jesus ain't there.
He ain't there.
Yeah. And then Stephen is the first marter, and he gets killed.
Okay.
And so the disciples know that this is risky.
But they're still willing to go do it.
Yeah. So like when I was last week, I was in Turkey.
Yeah.
And I went to Ephesus, which is where the body of St. John is. And I went to Hierapolis, which is where the body of Philip the disciple is. So like they went out and they started preaching these things. And there's various stories of like some were martyred. those reports are sketchier than others.
Mm-hmm.
But we know at minimum that Peter and Paul were martyred in Rome in and around the time between 64 and 68.
So every
80.
single one of them gets killed?
Not that we can reliably. At minimum, they are persecuted. Some were probably killed for their faith. A lot of them suffered physical harm because of it.
And the idea is that they all have disciples as well. The religion continues to grow.
Yeah.
And you see a difference in the religion from certain areas, right? When do we have like the Orthodox Church and the Catholic Church separate?
Well, that's in like that's 1,000 years after.
Yeah, but it takes time for those beliefs to separate. And what is the true one?
What is the true? Well, I mean, so I'm biased because I'm a Protestant.
Yeah.
Right. So nobody wakes up one day and is like, purgatory. We all believe that, right? Like there's a slow fade for these traditions that develop over time. And so it's not like it. So if you talk to Roman Catholics, it's the 2,000-year-old church. Pope Leo the 14th is the successor
American
of Peter,
Pope.
and that goes right back.
Yep.
Yeah. From Chicago.
You like that, though. You like that.
I mean, I'm not going to say I influenced it while I was in Rome, but I'm not going to say I'm not.
Talk to some
you wanted
cardinals.
the
I'll
American
believe it if
Pope.
I see a Pakistani pope.
Pakistan.
I'll believe it.
I like the Italian guy named Pizza Bola. That's what I was writing for, just because his name was Pizza Bola.
That was a front runner. Pizza Bowl. The funniest, most Italian. It's like a made up Italian name.
Yeah. If you were to like invent an Italian.
The
Pizza
Italian
Bola.
virus.
Nice. Don't you want Trump saying Pizza Bola though?
Yes, I do.
Pizza bola.
Oh,
That's great.
Pizza Bola. Okay, so tell me. So
the East and the West split
yeah,
over. I mean, there's language divisions, Latin and Greek, and all sorts of things. And then they ultimately disagree on the formulation. There's a bunch of things that happen, but on the formulation of the Nicene Creed, where does the Spirit proceed from the Father? So there's a bunch of things that go on, but they eventually excommunicate each other. Interestingly enough, under a Pope Leo.
Wow. So here we go, run it back.
And then Pope Leo.
But how different are the religions at the time? And is there enough communication between the different factions to maintain one like singularity of belief? Like there is a printed book at the time, there is one story.
Yeah.
Yet the Roman Catholics have a pope
Jesus.
and the Orthodox do not.
Right.
And
You know how people say that there are no stupid questions? I don't believe that. I'm not saying this is a stupid question, but it's not impactful. The question is not impactful. Like, we know the difference. The Catholics believe that you go through Mary to Jesus, the Word of God. They have their own Bible, actually. Their Bible comprises. No, I wanted to say incorporates, but of course, comprises could also be a replacement word. So their Bible comprises of our Bible. When I say our Bible, I'll say the Orthodox Christians' Bible, I guess. Genesis to Revelation. Theirs have other ones that their saints wrote, so-called saints, that we don't believe that, So I'll say that their Bible actually has its own contradictions, because some of the things that are written in it contradicts what is written in ours, but they have the ones in ours and theirs. So it's crazy. Like, you don't go through Mary to Jesus, you go directly to God, and you go through Jesus to God. That's it. There is no other way. Remember, the Bible said that. But kudos to Andrew for bringing in Wes Huff, the man. Wes Huff is the man, bro. So, but yeah, you heard it. This is their cool experience. I just wanted to react to it. I like Wes Huff and the things he's doing. And yeah, again, welcome to the Akuda experience. I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye-bye.